are coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Come on along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Beat with Corey O'Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Monday, June 22nd, post-Father's Day. I hope everybody had a happy Father's Day weekend. It was pretty nice. Sounds like we're live out on the from Augusta.
From the safari.
Yeah. Great weekend. Todd, how'd you have a great weekend?
I did. Beautiful weekend. Played a lot of golf. Ate a lot of good food.
See the boys. How are the boys doing?
They're good.
It was a beautiful time to get out and about, and a lot of people did that. I hope. I didn't do much, I can tell you that, but it was certainly relaxing and fun, and got to hang out with Kylie, what's most importantly. So just a fun weekend for everybody, and then not a lot of sports, unfortunately, yesterday. My Sunday was just planned, man. I was geared up. I had my visit with Kylie, and she had to go back early, but I was ready. Talladega, NASCAR Talladega, big race, big wrecks are going to be happening. There was golf on. Yeah, I'm all set. Then the weather comes and screws it all up. And then there was nothing on. And the golf came on late. But, man, it just stunk for TV watching.
It's funny the perspectives that you have on this. And I'm the first one to admit, like when a lot of people are upset, like baseball hasn't played and things like that. And I could literally care less whether baseball plays or not. But for you, it seemed like the weekend there wasn't much on. And for me, I have the PGA Tour Live package on my TV, so I can watch golf from 6:45 a.m. until they're done playing for the day. So actually, I had the longest TV watching sports weekend I've had in a long time.
Well, that's I don't know how you managed to do that.
I have perfected laziness.
I should probably not be surprised that in a time where there was absolutely zero. I don't know what you found to other than watching old stuff, which that is more. I watched several games last week. Saw you play several times last week, as a matter of fact. Saw the Purdue game in '94. And I didn't realize Calvert was gone. I kept saying, "Where's Cheney? Where's Cheney?" I'm like, "Oh hell, I guess he's gone." Didn't realize that there were so many of you guys that were still playing when he wasn't there. I mean, you, Graham, Nova obviously was younger, but seemed like there was quite a few of you guys in the same class that were still there. But of course, you and Pat both injured and redshirted. So I guess
that was one of the things with our teams back then that truly I feel like they're getting back to for the first time since Coach Knight's era. But you're getting the overlap. You got an overlap of good classes.
Yes.
And that way, if you lose a guy to injury here or there, you don't notice it. Now, obviously, a Calvert Cheney, you're always going to notice when Calvert Cheney was gone. But I mean, a guy like Greg Graham, for example, you've got guys to fill in and overlap that. They might not be the exact same type of player, but they certainly fill the role the same way.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie. It was fun watching those games. I mean – And
it was fun playing in those games.
And it was one of them was in Mackey Arena, and I know how you always say that Mackey's the toughest place to play, which you know.
I say it's the loudest. It's the loudest place.
Or loudest place. And that makes sense because man, it's perfectly seating wise. It's freaking perfect. There is not a bad seat in that design. It is, and it's a little bit smaller at 14,000. And there just simply is not a bad seat. It doesn't go up too high. Like I said, the highest seat in wherever it is they play, I forgot.
Mackey Arena?
Yeah, that one. The highest seat in that place is lower than where I currently sit in my media seat at Assembly Hall.
Here's the offset of that is their really good seats are not that great. But the really bad seats are not near as bad as what Assembly Halls are.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's kind of a catch-22, I mean, a little bit. But overall, when you look at the two facilities, I mean, there isn't any question that Mackey Arena is a better designed building than Assembly Hall.
In this day and age, where everything is newer, everything's nicer, everything's better. Will we ever see a different arena here? Because Indiana's in a very unique place. They can't like St. Louis University of Louisville. Well, they can use that and do for concerts. I can't tell you the number of big time concerts I've seen at the Yum Center.
Yeah.
There are no concerts in Bloomington. And I would think that when the students are here, that would be something, or like during Little Five. But anyway, so you don't have that to buffer it up against to build a new arena, and that's got to hurt them because they need it. They should have built a different arena as opposed to refurbishing it back a few years back, and half the people would have went berserk because Indiana is just such a.
It'd be like it's like tearing down Bob Knight's house. I mean, it's a lot of people would have rejected it. Now, here's the thing: 25 years from now,
they're going to wish they had.
Will anybody balk at it near as much as they would today or 10 years ago? Even I doubt it. So, I mean, I think someday we'll see it. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you and I are up there in age. I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetime. But in the next 25, 30 years, I would say it'll be at that point where they'll and I agree with you totally. I think it would have been the better move to make. Take that $40 million that Simon Scott's gave you and use that towards the down payment on a new building. But I don't know. I mean, I also understand the history of it.
And I don't know how much, as far as recruiting, I don't think that makes a bit of difference when they come in. They see that. They're probably every recruit's probably just as impressed as hell with it. So it probably doesn't affect it in any kind of negative way.
And for sure, because of what I said a second ago, in that when a recruit comes in, he isn't sitting in the balcony. So there's no negative side of it to him. Like, he sees it up close. It's packed. It's loud. Everything from a recruiting standpoint, and the gym looks good. It's well lit. It's a nice, here's what it's going to be though. When you analyze it 20 years from now, it's going to be the barn up in Minnesota. I mean, it's going to be a terrible place to play. And I mean, it's just not going to be, it's not going to hold its, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm surprised it made it through the last 10 years, to be honest with you.
Is Northwestern's Welsh Ryan Arena the worst in the Big Ten?
Well, they've got a new one now, though. Remember?
Oh,
they built a brand new one. But Welsh Ryan was, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It truly was just like a big high school. But it wasn't that bad. There's just no seat. There's no real seating on the ends, which makes it weird. It's almost like playing in a high school game.
Illinois has a very unique feature. They have these really nice, cushy seats down. Kind of like Purdue, but they have
Illinois and Purdue are extremely similar in how they're set up.
And the funny thing is, I'm like going, man, you can't get loud in this gym. You're sitting in a damn recliner here. You're not going to. And there's a whole bunch of them, and that's the ones closest to the court. And I'm like just laughing. I'm like, man, this is not conducive to just getting people fired up. Hell, I'll fall asleep in this baby. Bring me some nachos and cheese and a large Diet Coke, please. I mean, that's just how it was.
But the design, this is where they went wrong years ago with the design of Purdue or Mackey Arena and the Assembly Hall in Illinois, the fake Assembly Hall, is, they didn't set it up to where it could be transitioned into having suites. So they've had to make do with whatever way possible. And they've done that by, putting in some luxury seats, for lack of a better way to do it. So they have basically boxes now. And it's the best that they could do with what they had to work with. To be honest with you, if they probably at some point will wish they had just torn them down and built new ones.
And there's no reason to tear it down, I guess, in the future. They could leave it up. I don't know what you would use it for, but why tear it down and just put up another Assembly Hall, I guess, right there connected to it somehow. But
yeah, I mean, the issue with that that I see from the university standpoint is just the actual room itself. I mean, you're limited. You're kind of landlocked into what space you have, and especially up at Purdue. I mean, they're in an area where I think they would probably have to tear it down.
It was a great idea,
something.
a unique design. The design, I love Ken Bykoff, a great dude, one good friend of mine, and he's historically he knows so much stuff. Need to have him on, as a matter of fact. But the design of Assembly Hall is from a cattle auction house in North Carolina. That's what, I forget the Dort. I think it was called Dorton Arena or Dorton, something like Dorton Arena. It is and it's the suspension part is what it is. It's this. I don't know if people realize that thing is held together by cables at the top. That's why it's got that unique look. It's held together by cables. So it's a weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, the design is obviously unique because you don't see very many places like it. So I guess that's some reason to hang on to it. Even though it's the place that I played, like if they gave us a vote and said, would you be okay with tearing it down and building a new one, I would check the yes box as fast as I could.
Yep. Definitely something my opinion has changed on over the years.
Sure.
Because
Me too.
You lose that. Well, you've got that. Oh no, man, you can't take our. Just kind of like you said a minute ago, but it's like practicality. Yeah, it sucks.
You know. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's going to come down someday.
That's right.
So why don't at least let me benefit from seeing some of the new. I mean, the new arena would be, would just be fantastic for this program and fan base.
Tim hit the text line this morning. 54-year-old Jamie Foxx to play Mike Tyson in a new movie. 52-year-old Mike Tyson to come out of retirement for a few charity boxing matches. Well, anything Jamie Foxx does, I'm all good with, man, because he just kills it.
Yeah.
I mean, Ray Charles, hello. But yeah, Mike Tyson come out of retirement is not like anybody else come out of retirement. I saw him on that video, and he looks like a monster. A monster at 53. It's like, oh, my God. He would kill somebody right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand, what it takes to be a boxer. But it sure looks like he has it still. Whatever I would say on the outside you would need. I mean, he looks strong and powerful and quick, and I don't know. Maybe at his age, I mean, think about it. You take a smack to the face at that age.
Talk about
you're not getting hit by you and me.
Talk about everybody changing your plans. Everybody's got a plan till you get hit in the mouth.
That's his best line.
That's the greatest line I've ever heard in my life.
It is
awesome. Forrest from South Georgia was up playing golf all over this weekend, I believe. He was in Bloomington. He was in Martinsville, all around central Indiana. So he got to get up out of Georgia for a while. So good for him.
Who did?
Forrest from South Georgia. And then Alan also says, let's see. Smith out of Indiana. I'm not sure what that says. Indiana of top 25. Smith, Arkansas to the top 25. Oh, yeah. Okay. Smith out at Indiana. Indiana out of top 25. Smith to Arkansas. Arkansas in the top 25. Well, thoughts? Thanks, Alan, for that text, though. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy. I mean, I don't know anything about Arkansas, but they could have a very senior-laden team that was just one little piece away from feeling like they're completed. I don't care what those rankings say, especially in June of the summer. I'm like, I was just
getting ready to say that ranking is probably just a tiny bit more accurate than if we decided to rank the 2025 NCAA right now. I mean,
but I know what he's asking. I mean, for whatever reason, I don't know anything about Arkansas. I have not looked at them, so maybe that just gives them a final piece where they can compete in their league. I don't know, because they weren't that horrible before. What's Musselman there doing? An okay
they came into Assembly Hall and won.
Yeah, I mean, it was a different coach, but yeah, I mean, who knows? But Indiana should not be out of the top 25. I think they probably are a top 25 team. Hell, I think that they're better. Hell, I think they're a better team right now. I mean, I know you agree with that. You want my thoughts on that? I disagree. I think they actually are, and I didn't last year. And I'm saying this now, not seeing them play yet. So I really need to see them play and see how they play together. But I'm expecting them to be a top 25 team because I know the talent is there, but not just the talent, but the talent that will play together within the system, within the teamwork framework of a team. I think they're a lot better off with that, so I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be ranked, but we got to see them play first. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the production from that position, that 31 minutes a game, the production from that, I think, will increase throughout the year. I mean, the 10 points and 5 rebounds over that 31 minutes, I think the guys that replace that will increase those numbers.
We got to hit a break. I didn't see that. Our producer's not getting on us. We're going to have to train him a little bit better, aren't we? I'm telling you. Matt Taylor coming up next, man. Let him talk to Matt for a while.
Always one of our favorites.
Colts play-by-play man, our favorite. It's coming up next. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Monday. We're back with Matt Taylor right after this.
It's a long day, living in Reseda. There's a freeway running through the yard.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is James Whiteman Jr., former Indiana Hoosier. Make sure you're keeping up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat, Coyle Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Monday. It's June 22nd, joined by one of our absolute favorites, the best play-by-play man in the NFL, Matt Taylor. Matthew, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, guys. What's happening? How we doing?
We're here, waiting for you to make the party go. How's the new baby?
Baby's doing good. I appreciate you asking. He is 2.5 months, and he's a quarantine baby, and so he doesn't know any different. So when we all get back to normal and go back to work, he's not going to know what to think. But he's getting all the attention, all the loving right now. So in that regard, life's pretty good.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild, Todd, when he gets older. And it's like you were born during a pandemic. You were born during a shutdown, a lockdown.
It's interesting because we've seen commercials here recently of people talking about when they were born back in the 1920s and 30s and 40s during different pandemic eras or things that had happened. And it's a story that these kids, I mean, this will be a group. I mean, right now we'd call it a Facebook group or Snapchat or whatever they call that, but there'll be a group of people that are all quarantine babies years and years from now. That'll it's just an unusual circumstance that no one in my lifetime has ever been titled a quarantine baby. So it's just unusual and different.
So what's
he was born like 2 weeks into this, so pretty much in its infancy, and even then, we just didn't have any idea of where this thing was going to go, and I think there was some of us that thought by this time in the calendar we were going to be in a better position than we are now, and so there's no question. When he goes off to college and he's in his little groups that he's in, trying to make some friends and going off and doing his own, he's definitely going to have an icebreaker. That's for sure. I think obviously everybody will. That goes off to college in his age group, so to speak. But it's been weird, but it's been good. We're trying to stay busy and keep life normal as possible. But there's no question that this just kind of lingers over us and hangs over our head until it's over.
Was it your first child?
Second. Yeah, we also have a 3-year-old girl, 3.5-year-old girl, and so it's been good for her because she's kind of mellowed out after the boy came, because she's a wire. She's everywhere.
I was thinking back to when my kids were first born and what the changes in everyone in the household's lives were like. I cannot possibly imagine what that would be like, having 2 kids at 3 years old and under, quarantined in a house for 3 months.
And then you throw on top of that, still working from home and still doing, remote everything. And so, listen, it's not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things. Like I've always said, we're incredibly blessed. We don't really have a whole lot to complain about. That being said, it does come with its challenges at times. There's like, for example, you're doing a radio show, you're trying to tape a radio show at home, and you've got a toddler screaming in the background because you can't get Rapunzel to show up on Netflix, and then you got an infant screaming because he's a baby, and you've got to try to find these little pockets of time to get a show in and just kind of work from home, but you're constantly being taken away from tasks here and there. You're trying to focus at the computer, do your stuff, but life gets in the way. So listen, it is what it is. It's still a whole lot of fun, and this whole thing, the silver lining of it has been a blessing to be able to stay at home and get more time with the kids. I talked about the 3-year-old. She and I mean, we've always been close, but I feel like in the last 3.5, 4 months, we've become even closer because we're getting extra time that we wouldn't have had if this didn't happen.
Well, normally I would have to ask what you've been doing, so we already know that. Yeah, that's more than covered by knowing just by having a baby. That answers that question for sure. But there are work things that are still going on, and especially in your line of work as the play-by-play guy for the Colts, the NFL, one of the big stories going around, and all major sports. But the NFL is one that seems to, and the NBA both, they really seem to have. They're doing everything they can to make a season happen. Everything looks to be gearing in the right situation. Seems like from our standpoint, Matt, to us having a season and having everything, not normal, but I think we're going to have a season at least.
Yeah, I mean, I sure hope we do. I mean, I really do. I mean, everybody's certainly crossing their fingers, and they're doing everything that they can to ensure we have football, and then after that, what that looks like, that certainly remains to be seen. But I think everybody in this country would sacrifice kind of the pomp and circumstance just to have games, to have football on TV on Saturdays with colleges, and then certainly with the NFL on Sunday. But there's a lot of uncertainty. Certainly, I mean, I guess if you could classify the last 6 or 7 days as good or bad, I guess it's been somewhat negative because college football players are going back and they're starting to be around each other more, and guys are testing positive. There's a pocket of guys at these big major universities like Alabama and Clemson and Texas. And you read about how the NFLPA just a couple of days ago has recommended that the pockets of players who have gotten together on their own from respective teams, they're saying, hey, you should probably stop doing that, which is not good considering you missed 9 or 10 weeks of on-field workouts with your teams in spring. 13 OTA practices, 3 days of minicamp that's just basically out the window. And so guys were trying to get together on their own in the month of June to make up for that. And I think as far as the Colts are concerned, that was going well because Phillip Rivers was getting offensive guys together, defensive guys together, and basically anybody that could come back to town to Indianapolis and get together, they were working out. And Phillip was essentially a player coach on the field and putting a practice plan together and kind of putting his own little mini camp sessions in place. So I'm not sure if those have stopped. I'm not on the inside there because, again, players are off doing their own thing and they can make their own decisions as far as that goes. But it's just, I guess we were kind of trending in the right direction, and the last couple of days has been kind of a dose of reality. So we'll see how it goes from here. But I still think we have a little bit of time. Obviously, we have until late July until guys report for training camp. And even then, the NFL's always said we can be flexible about this. We can move training camp back. We can eliminate some preseason games. We can start the regular season back a little bit. So I just hate to say it, but if you want definite answers, I'm probably not the guy to talk to because this is such a fluid situation, and we just don't know how it's going to look and if it's going to start on time.
Yeah, I think the phrase "definite answers" that's out the window, man. For anything,
just do what Dr. Fossey and everybody else does, and just give flip-flop. A definite answer, and then tomorrow just flip flop.
Just flip flop. Yeah,
you're allowed to change it whenever you want.
From a personal standpoint, that's what's most frustrating is guys like that have advocated every angle since this whole thing has started. People like that have advocated every angle on both sides.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's very frustrating, and you don't know what's what, and it's kind of a tangled mess. And for somebody like me whose brain capacity is very low to begin with, it's just there's only so much you can take before you just kind of throw your hands up in the air and just start hoping and praying that we play football, because that's really all that matters to me is just somebody that loves football and whose job is centered around football. You just want to have games and whatever that looks like and all the protocols in place to make that happen. I'm all in favor of.
Well, and talking about actual football now, questions coming into the season. I know as a play-by-play guy, you can't take any stance, but you've got Phillip Rivers coming in. A lot of people calling him Old Man Rivers coming in to take over a team that was in desperate need of some leadership at that spot. Probably a lot of people on both sides of the fence on him, but they're as a team, they sure seem like they're going to be improved this year.
There's no question they're going to be improved, and they've really improved their major weaknesses from the 2019 season. If you look at some areas that kind of doomed them in games, we talked about this before. They really went out and upgraded, were aggressive in getting DeForest Buckner at the 3-tech spot, and the defense the Colts play, it is a 4-3. And if you want to make that scheme really work and really hum, you've got to have a dominant person up front that can push the pocket back into the quarterback. And that's exactly what DeForest Buckner can do. I mean, if you just watch the playoff games last year in that Super Bowl game, DeForest Buckner was just eating people up and creating double teams. And like I said, pushing that pocket back into the quarterback. You can talk to the greats, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. They hate when there's action around their feet. They hate when the pocket is pushed back into them because they've got nowhere to go. So it's going to help every layer of the defense. Certainly it's going to help guys, like the All-Pro Darius Leonard. He's going to make more plays. He should be freed up to roam a little bit freer. And the guys in the back end, too. The Colts secondary last year, the last 2 years, the Colts have allowed 70% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks. That's the first time in NFL history that's happened, where a team has allowed 70% completion percentage to opposing QBs. So that obviously has to get fixed. And so I just hope that the Dinkin and Duncan, the quick check downs, those are no longer an option for offenses this year against the Colts, because DeForest Buckner is going to be in their face. Also Sheldon Day. So that's the defensive side of the ball. And then obviously Phillip Rivers comes over, and I think Phillip is going to be just fantastic for this team. I really do. He knows this offense. He knows Frank Reich. He knows Nick Sirianni. But there's nothing you can throw at Phillip that he hasn't seen before. I mean, if the guy retires right now, he's probably arguably a Hall of Fame guy. Maybe not a first ballot guy, but he's going to go into the Hall of Fame. He's going to be, when it's all said and done, he's going to be fifth all-time in passing, fifth all-time in attempts, completions, all those things. And he's going to be quick release, quick rhythm. He's going to know where to go with the football. And he's got guys coming back that weren't on this team last year, right? I mean, for the most part, T.Y. Hilton was banged up. Paris Campbell only played in 7 games. He's got that big-body receiver now, Michael Pittman, their draft pick out of USC. Trey Burton is a good mismatch, athletic tight end. So on paper, this is a good Colts offense. And Phillip Rivers, he doesn't have to be Phillip Rivers of 2016 or 2018, where he's got 4,800 yards passing. This running game with Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor and the great offensive line. I mean, the perfect scenario for Phillip is to hand the ball off 25, 30 times per game, throw for about 180, 200 yards, and the Colts win a game 28-14. And there's not a whole lot of stress where Phillip Rivers has to shoulder the entire offense like we've seen him do in the past with the Chargers. So I think this team is set up to have great success and to take advantage of whatever opposing defenses give them on a given Sunday. And we know Frank Reich, he is perfectly happy and perfectly content with just running the ball down your throat. If you're going to give the Colts the ability to run the ball, he's going to save all of those passing weapons and all of those passing plays in his hip pocket and sleep well at night knowing he just ran the ball down your throat for 220 yards and beat you soundly in the trenches. He is more than patient and more than happy to do that. So I think whatever defenses want to do, take away the run or take away the pass, the Colts are equipped to beat you because they've got the great running game and they've got all the guys on the outside, the skill positions to take advantage that way as well.
Well, football should just be upgraded, period, around Central Indiana, because Indiana, the Hoosiers also, ESPN's got them in their preseason top 25, which I know that any preseason right now doesn't mean a lot. But I'm going to have to do some research to find out the last time Indiana was ranked in the preseason, because I can't remember that offhand. And that's monumental for a program if that happens.
I mean, listen, I totally agree. It's kind of silly to rank teams at the beginning of the season, but the fact that you see the IU logo in those rankings, that is huge for attention and notoriety and certainly recruiting. And being a huge IU football fan, I'm just chomping at the bit. Like, now we have to play football. Like, the first time to your point, forever, it seems like we got an IU team that the ceiling, the floor, the basement of expectations on this team, given their schedule, is 8 wins. Would you agree? Like 8 or 9 wins. If they win 7 games and still make a bowl, I think that would still be disappointing, considering the hype and the amount of potential that they have. But yeah, I mean, from a sports standpoint, I'm a huge Cincinnati Reds fan. They were supposed to be good this year. I'm a huge IU football fan, obviously a Colts fan. Like, all of those teams are going to be good in this calendar, and we got to start playing games.
I forgot about the Reds. Yeah, they were supposed to be good. My team too. That's hilarious. Hey, speaking of the NBA, one of the things they're looking at is pushing noise into an arena for the crowd experience. Football, it's so important in these NFL stadiums. I mean, that's a very important part. Places like Seattle, they're known for that. But is that something you think you could see the NFL doing? The stadiums are so much larger. It would, man, I don't know what kind of technology we'd be talking about there, but something, you know. I mean, Todd, can you played a lot of games? Can you? But you played both
I
ways.
can see it's not going to be. I don't think that even if they did it, and Matt will be able to speak better to this, but I know at some point the Colts were accused many years ago in the Hoosier Dome of pumping crowd noise into that thing, and if they don't do it,
got a leg up
I think
already.
it'll really seem weird. I mean, basketball, you can get away with it. It's a smaller venue, smaller people, but when you get those big outdoor arenas and the big domes like Lucas Oil Stadium. That to me is when you'll really notice no fans in the stands, and if there's no noise, it'll just seem. I think a little bit of noise pumped in would help it out a bit.
Yeah, I think hypothetically, if we play games with no fans, that's being talked about for sure. And yeah, it is going to sound weird. Like, let's say, for example, we got action on the field, and then people like myself broadcasting the game. You know, at Lucas Oil Stadium, you're literally 7 stories up. And we've already talked about the challenges that potentially could come with that. Okay, if we're way up high in the sky in our radio booth and the action's way down in the field, how do we make it sound like we're just not like up in some like soup can sounding just building way up high in the sky? How do we make it sound like we're actually at an NFL game? And that's being talked about. And I think it's a little bit tricky because, let's say, for example, just throwing it out there, the Colts have a road game in Houston. And it sounds louder there with their pumped-in crowd noise than it does at Lucas Oil Stadium. Like, how do you monitor that? Like, you know,
right.
Is there a designated NFL person monitoring the decibel level of the fake crowd noise you're pumping into?
Yeah, we've got so much cheating in sports, man.
The same guy that checks how much air is in the ball can do
exactly
what the decibel level is.
Come on, yeah. It's one of those things where, like, I'm kind of in favor of it, but on the other hand, I'm kind of not, because who are we trying to fool? I think that might sound a little bit gimmicky. Our biggest challenge is again, like I said, trying to make up for the lack of crowd noise if there's not going to be fans. So can we put microphones on the field and get things that we normally wouldn't get with a crowd being there? Like, for example, like the cadence at the line of scrimmage, the crack of the pads. Like, could we take the audience closer to the field with no crowd? But with that, then there's another set of challenges with that as well. You know, do you want cadences going out over the air? Do you want code words being broadcasted? Inevitably, guys are going to be grunting and swearing, and just the passion of the game gets a little heated, and you're going to hear things from guys in the sideline that's not FCC approved, let's say. So there's challenges with that as well. But my biggest thing is I don't want to just be up high in the broadcast booth and it's hollow and it doesn't sound like we're at a game. And I guess, you know, I have no idea if they're still going to play music at the stadium, if they're going to still have like Jumbotron features, things like that, sound effects at the stadium, so where like we can just set up our normal crowd mics and pick all that up and be okay. I don't know the answer to these questions yet, and that's what's kind of scary is we're sitting here talking on June 21st or whatever, and you know the first preseason game is less than 2 months away, and we don't even know if that preseason game is going to happen because they're talking about maybe shortening the preseason to accommodate for a bigger acclimation period for guys to ramp up to get ready for the season because they missed all the off-season work in the spring. So again, I hate to say it, but I just don't know. I don't have the answers right now. And for people like me that have to kind of adjust to all this, we're still kind of reading, waiting, reacting, and adjusting as things happen.
Man, we expected you to have every answer. That's not acceptable, Matt. Come on, man. You got to – no, I'm just kidding. We appreciate you coming on, brother, especially in light you got double duties going on. You got the new baby. Congratulations again. And as we get closer and closer, look forward to continuing to do this. And I hope you can get down this way, and we'll give you a day break one day, daddy break. But appreciate you joining us as always, brother. I hope you have a great week.
You got it. Yeah, call my wife. Call my wife when to see if I can get permission to come down there for a day.
Yeah. I bet that flies like a lead balloon.
Call the boss man. See if you can get it on our calendar.
Matt Taylor, brother, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
All right, you guys be good. Thank you.
You bet.
See you, buddy.
There's a friend, Matt Taylor, joining us from the Indianapolis Colts. We got a lot more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back with it right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
We'll be counting stars.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Monday. It is June 22nd, Todd Leary. The equinox was over the weekend, I think. So now the days begin to get less sunlight.
Yep.
Each day you're going to have less and less putting.
Yeah, I think that starts today, right? It's today, the first day of that?
Last day or two. Something like that. I'm not sure.
You don't really notice the difference for like the first 30, 45 days of that, but then you start to.
Well, when you do, it starts to set in. Then you add the time change to that, and it's over.
Awful.
Cade Cunningham is staying at Oklahoma State despite their postseason ban. That's a shocker.
What? That does not make any sense whatsoever.
I mean, Wow. Why would you do that? I mean, you're just saying you have no interest in playing in the NCAA tournament. You're like, I don't care.
Yeah, I honestly, I could not give you a reason that makes sense with that.
Well, I can.
Athletically?
Oh, athletically, no. I was going to say he must be paid very, very well. They must be demanding that he's to stand by his contract. Just kidding there. Little Oklahoma State, one of the teams that the FBI was loving on during that investigation. But, yeah, that's odd, man. I mean, to be able to get a kid to do that, I mean, high-profile kid like that.
I mean, he for sure would have been one of the guys offered to go to that G League team and make, $100,000 to $400,000 a year. And
maybe he just wants to go to college. And he's like,
train.
I just don't want to screw around. I like it here. I'm only going to be here a year anyway, so screw it. I mean, what's one playing in a couple NCAA tournament games? Yeah, it would be great. And he probably doesn't realize how much what he's going to end up missing. But he's looking at the NBA. Since he's a potential number one pick, different from someone like Carson Edwards. Carson Edwards a couple years ago, that NCAA tournament, that made him. There was no way he got picked where he got picked by whom he got picked by if he does not have that tournament run. I mean, he had a great season, but he really just put the exclamation point on it in the NCAA tournament with some clutch shooting and big-time shooting, and I think that that's what got him drafted where it did.
I don't disagree with you at all, but I think from this standpoint, I think it's the exact opposite for this kid at Oklahoma State because I think the only thing he can really do is hurt his stock for being able to go to the NBA the next year. I think he'd be much better off to just go, either go somewhere where he can, compete at the highest level or go somewhere where he is, training for that G League team like some of the other guys have done.
Yeah, crazy.
I just don't see the benefits in staying at a school that can't play in the tournament.
It's very odd. I can't remember if I mentioned this on the air or not, but NASCAR's Talladega race yesterday postponed to today at 3:00. But the Xfinity race they ran the day before, another Indiana kid gets a win in that series. Justin Haley from Winamac, Indiana. That's I think that's back-to-back Xfinity races won by the kids from Indiana. I think Chase Briscoe won the one before that, and then now him. That's pretty cool.
They've won a lot of them. I know that because we've talked about it, and it's I would have never pictured Indiana as a hotbed for producing NASCAR drivers, maybe IndyCar, but
Jeff Gordon grew up here.
Yeah, no, believe me,
Tony
it's
Stewart.
It's kind of I guess we just know those names because they're from here. Maybe the state of Minnesota has a bunch of drivers from there too that I just don't know about. But it just seems odd that Indiana would have that many. It seems like a southern state.
I think because of it absolutely is. But I think because of the racing bloodline that runs through Indianapolis, and then now with Indianapolis having that track or that race in NASCAR race for so long, but racing is just Indianapolis is racing, and it's different, a very different part of racing. But there's a lot of carryover there. But yeah, NASCAR considered a southern thing, but they've a long time been trying to expand that. But yeah,
you hear me call it a sport. Southern sport.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Belmont Stakes was over the weekend, man. Did you catch that by chance?
I did not. What was the winning horse's name?
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
Tis the Law.
Okay.
Tis the Law one. It was a shortened. The Belmont is usually the third in the Triple Crown series. Usually last, and it's a battle of wills because all right, the Derby winner is there. Generally, if they have won the Preakness, the Derby winner is going to be there. And now what is happening in the last few years, horses are taking that second race off to try to come back and beat the Derby winner in the third race if they don't feel like they can do it in the Preakness. So it's a tough row to hoe. But this year's weird. Now, this will be the weirdest Triple Crown winner ever. And if what I saw Saturday from that horse, he looked like a little mini Secretariat. He dominated that race, but it was shortened. Wouldn't have mattered, I don't think, because he would have won this race going away. But from a mile and a half to a mile and an eighth, but it still should be the longest of the three races. Now the Derby is not till like September, I think. So that's weird. It's weird. They usually were like 2 weeks apart.
Yeah. What will it be like? Will there be a dramatic difference between the Kentucky Derby and being in September versus what's it usually in April?
Well, another thing is they use earnings to determine who gets in the Kentucky Derby originally. And so that usually kind of, there's the prep races and then boom, the Derby, and then everything comes after it. Well, now it's completely reversed. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, because you're going to have the Belmont. I mean, the Preakness will be before the Derby as well, I think. It
was interesting because the tournament that was played at Harbortown in South Carolina, the golf tournament that was played this weekend, that tournament is usually in April. And so it was about 2 months later than what it normally is. And it was interesting because I enjoy golf. It was interesting to hear the players talk about the difference in the course and how the grass had grown differently and it was different. It was aged differently because of the time of year it was. Like, it was really interesting, I thought, to hear how it would play different. And we're gonna deal with that, several times throughout the year. I mean, this is the weekend. Always Father's Day weekend is the weekend the U.S. Open is played in the United States, and obviously that didn't happen. Everything has been moved back, so it will just continue to hear these stories about how these courses play differently. Augusta probably will be the biggest difference. And when we had Fuzzy on, we asked him about that, and he definitely said it would play harder and faster because of just the time of year.
Right. Tim, at the text line, why is the NCAA making us wait so long for the penalties for Duke, Louisville, et cetera, et cetera? Duke has not been found guilty of anything first, and they probably won't be. They'll probably end up getting away with it. But Louisville is the next big one that will probably fall, but I don't know where that investigation is. No idea.
Did you see? I saw Friday that Bill Self was threatening to put a lawsuit to sue the NCAA. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's a great idea, Bill. Bring more attention to yourself. That's a terrific idea.
Well, and it just shows again to me, Kansas just completely thumbing their nose at everything. Well, all it is throwing up this big posture front because they cheat their ass off, and everybody, we all know it. We all know it. He's a cheating POS. I mean, he's got the text messages to show it. He was right there involved with it, but he's going to be another Will Wade who gets away with it. And it's what's it say about us, society? If he gets away with it, it's because he was allowed to.
No. It's not us, because what you said is right. What's it say about the NCAA? Because when it's obvious, what's the old saying? If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, the NCAA just has to pretend like this is not obvious what's going on or what's going on. And, the whole innocent until proven guilty thing, I mean, they're taking that to a whole new level, because Kansas did a great job in helping them have the information that proves them guilty. And somehow, I mean, if you've read the whole thing, the way the NCAA, they had a committee that was designed to look at this stuff. The committee that ruled on the Oklahoma State issues is not the same group that's ruling on the Kansas issues. They created a whole new committee just for this. So it's just, the whole thing is so frustrating. That's why I watch golf, because the NCAA has nothing to do with it.
How much, I wonder, is the thought of the future of this season, of next season, the thought of not having to deal with COVID-19. But it should not affect anything on TV. Obviously, it should make it even better. So, but I'm wondering if the NCAA's got that in their head. Hey, we've got to handle this in this particular way because of where we are right now. But again,
that would truly, I mean, it wouldn't probably be the right thing to do or be fair, but it would also have a little bit of common sense to it if they did do that, which makes you believe they're definitely not going to do it, because there's nothing with common sense related to the NCAA. Those are oxymorons.
I agree. When we come back, we're not ready to break just yet, but want to talk about something I saw. I think it was a tweet somebody said. It was a tweet or text somebody sent to the show, but it's a great question. Arkansas better with Justin Smith, but Indiana is also better without Justin Smith. So two teams got better with that move, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about that, because I can for sure say that I think Indiana as a team will be better. I don't know that I would argue Arkansas will be better.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to argue they're going to be better either, but apparently other people think that is the case. The ESPYs were last night. I didn't really watch it. It was very non-traditional. They focused on the social issues, which was great, a great platform to use that for. But not as normal as the ones we'd expect to see.
Yeah,
so
the ESPYs are always kind of fun. There's cool plays to watch and things like that. It's just, I think we're all kind of past that right now. Yep. I got to get to it. Hey, we got lots more coming up on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary, listening to it from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Monday. When we come back, we're going to talk about Indiana better without Justin Smith, Arkansas better with Justin Smith. The debate rages along. We'll be back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, homemade wine.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, coming to you on this Monday from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, June 22nd. The TBT gets started this week, I think this week, Todd.
No, July 4th.
Not okay, so next week.
Yep, 2 weeks.
Oh, it's still 2 weeks out?
Yep. Today's 22nd.
Yeah, I got a little early. We're going to have Mo Creek on tomorrow, I think. We'll talk about it anyway. But then once it starts, We'll get him on a little regularly, especially if they're winning. That'd be fun. Ramey Abel's playing with him too. That's funny. I think those are the only two IU guys, and both of those were transfers.
Yeah.
Why are there no Indiana guys in this thing? I know several of them that are still playing are active in other leagues, but right now they're all home. And I know you can't just throw a team together.
I mean, Jordan Holes has other things.
Right, but there's a lot of guys. There's so many guys. Even the guys that aren't playing professionally anymore. You would think that there's plenty of good enough ones that could put a TBT team together.
Yeah, I don't think that you are – I think you're overlooking the fact of unless you stay in shape, you can't be competitive. No. I mean, you can be competitive at the hyper, but you can't be competitive in a real game against guys who are in shape.
Right. I understand it completely, but I'm just saying you would think that there are guys that are still in shape playing that played at Indiana that could put a team together. It's just odd that some
I
of these
can
other
name
schools.
two: Will Sheehy and Jordan Holes. Name another one. I mean, maybe Mo Creek. I guess you're naming
Mo Creek,
who
Ramey
else? I mean,
Amo,
there is
Troy Williams. Well, Troy Williams is in the NBA or in the league, but we just had he's still playing. He's still playing professionally. The big man from the early 2000s. Andre Patterson. Was it Andre Patterson we had on? Who was it?
No, Andre Patterson works for the Utah Jazz, or now he works for Milwaukee.
Somebody we had on not too long ago that's also still playing. There's plenty.
I mean, the guys who you would think.
Jimmy, check the sound, brother.
Deron Davis. I mean, Deron Davis is a guy who ought to play in it.
Yeah, Jimmy, check sound. Make sure we're still good. Yeah. Of course. I don't know if he's in good enough shape though to play.
So you're saying he's not in good enough shape? Definitely think about guy. I mean, look at a guy like Christian Watford, for example. I mean, I know he's probably only a year removed from playing in overseas for several years. That 1 year removed, and also being up there in age. I mean, what's your over the hill limit for a guy that play professionally in basketball?
I don't know, but there's some guys on some of these teams that played in the NBA for 18 years. So they're older. So I mean, there's guys in their 30s.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like there's not that many IU guys I would put in that category. I mean, when we see George Leach, still looks crazy, like he's in shape. I mean, he's fit. He's not fat. I mean, he looks great. He's 7 feet tall. He's got long arms, and he looks great. But if he's not worked out and been competitive, we're undervaluing how big a deal that is, because they get run out of the gym.
I want to see you coaching that team. That would be great.
Yeah, me years ago would have been fun to watch that, because I would have been a complete idiot. But I'm so much calmer now. I mean, can't you just tell my demeanor is just so much calmer?
You can keep it. You think you can keep it all intact?
No, not if it's win or go home, because when it's do or die time, if we lose, we're not making any money. I would be taking it way too serious, I'm sure.
Justin Smith transfers to Arkansas. Some say that made Arkansas a better team. Most think that it made Indiana a better team. Somebody talk about that.
The people that think it made Arkansas a better team. I mean, Justin Smith's an incredible physical talent. Okay, but the same people who think that it immediately made them better would be the same people that think that are ranking him based on his potential. Because we all know at IU, we know what we're going to get out of Justin Smith. We've got it for 3 years. And we're all basing how good he could be on if he played hard and played a certain way. And he's proved for 3 years that he doesn't, and he's not going to. Now, that being said, if he goes to Arkansas and somebody figures out a way to get it out of him, then he could make a team significantly better. But if he gives the same effort that he gave at IU, I don't think he's going to help that team that much.
Well, the funny thing is, the ironic thing is when Indiana went to Arkansas, was it 2 seasons ago?
Mm-hmm.
In the pre-conference, they played down there, and they lost the alligator arm shot. Remember?
Yeah.
But they got hustled, outmanned, outmuscled. They just got out everything. Justin Smith was getting blocked 2 or 3 times in that game, and that was just after they're bragging about him being, this 6'8" monstrosity with a 48-inch vertical leap. And I'm like, really? This dude is getting beat around like he stole something. But Arkansas was so physical. That's what stood out to me. They out-physicaled Indiana. They showed how weak-minded they were at that time. And for him to make that team better, it just kind of cracks me up because I think he's just the opposite of that.
Well, that same team came into Assembly Hall and won this year. And that's a game that Indiana – that was a giveaway game. The Maryland and the Arkansas games were giveaway games. They easily should have won those games.
2 different coaches, by the way, too.
What's that?
Both those Arkansas teams were 2 different coaches.
Well, this last year's Arkansas team is the same team that he's going to play for.
Right. But I'm saying it's opposite, not the same as the one they lost to the year before that.
Right. But if you look at that team that came in here last year, they were not overly talented. They were athletic, but they were not overly basketball talented, especially scoring the basketball. And I don't see how Justin Smith's going to improve that. Now, they seem like they could shoot whenever they wanted to, but I'll be honest with you. I felt like Justin Smith could shoot whenever he wanted to also. And if he goes there and shoots 22% from the three-point line the same way he did at Indiana, their coach isn't going to love it either. So I don't know. If he gets better and improves, then yes, I think he can help that team. I don't think Indiana will be a worse team without the Justin Smith that they had last year. Without the cool guy, Justin Smith, I don't think Indiana will be worse off.
Pressure to me is on Justin Smith because if he does not show improvement, it shows that, hey, the buck stops with you, brother. You had the opportunity.
And look, this all sounds like I'm rooting against Justin Smith. I at least feel like it sounds that as it comes out of my mouth, and that's not the case. Look, I've rooted my butt off for Justin Smith for 3 years. I'm still rooting for him. Now, if they ever play IU, I hope he has 0 points and 0 rebounds. But any other game that he plays, when they play Kentucky, I'll be rooting like a madman for him to have 40 and win that game. So I want Justin Smith to do well. He's a Hoosier. He's got an IU degree. I rooted like heck for him for 3 years. I will continue to root for him. But I'm not also going to sit here and say Indiana's season is going to be worse next year because he's not here.
Tim said Justin Smith will be the cool guy in Europe one day.
You are 100% correct. He'll be the G League cool guy, or he'll be the cool guy overseas, unless someone gets a hold of him. Unless he goes to the right kind of program, somebody gets a hold of him and gets him to play differently. Because if you could turn him into a guy who had a Dennis Rodman mindset, he makes $15 million a year in the NBA.
And that's possible because I was just last night watching because there was nothing to watch, but Dale Jr. does a podcast, and he had a driver on there, Kurt Busch, who was known as early in his career. Oh, my gosh. Dude was a hothead. He was getting in a fight with people all the time. They were showing clips, and he was on suspension, and a reporter was asking him something. He goes, well, it pretty much prevents me from kicking the crap out of you right now for asking stupid questions. And it was just that's the kind of guy he was. And Dale Jr. was like, man, you've done a 180. You're not. He's like, yeah. He was acknowledging that it was just all kinds of things, but it was immaturity and this and that and the other thing. It can happen. And I'm not saying that Justin Smith is immature. I'm saying I don't think he has the right mindset. I don't think he's got his mind right for a team sport, for team anything, because he doesn't seem like he plays within the constraints of making a team better.
Yeah, he doesn't play hard. I don't know how else to say it other than, there are certain guys, I've said this before. I think Romeo Langford was a guy who he was smooth. It didn't look like he was going 100% all the time. Although I do think he was just smooth. I wouldn't say that about Justin Smith. I don't think Justin Smith – I think if there's a loose ball on the floor and you have a guy like Will Sheehey going after the ball against a guy like Justin Smith, Will Sheehey's going to get that ball 100% of the time.
Agree.
And that shouldn't be the case. Athletically, that should not be the case. And so that's all I'm saying with that. And I think Justin Smith – But I also do think people change. I mean, you and I mean, we can all of our listeners can probably look back on things and say, man, when I was 20 or 21 years old, if someone had just told me this or gotten a hold of me or figured out a way to get me to understand this, how different my life would be or things I would do differently.
It's still happening. What are you talking about?
I'm with you. That's why I'm saying Justin Smith, hey, this could be the year somebody flipped the switch with him and he gets it. But it wasn't going to happen here at Indiana with Archie Miller and these teammates and everything that was here. And I'm not blaming Archie Miller. I'm definitely not blaming the teammates. And I'm not blaming Justin Smith. I'm just saying it wasn't going to happen when he was here. And I hope it happens for him somewhere, just not against Indiana.
Man, we're only like 8, 9, 10 weeks away from opening college football.
I know. It's scary because I really want it to get here soon, but it's also scary because I don't want it to get here too soon to where we have to get
it. Doesn't happen. 10 weeks may sound like long. That's like barely over 2 months.
I swear.
I don't think it's quite 10 weeks.
I'm telling you, don't you wish right now like they would say, hey, all right, look, here's going to be the new plan. We're not going to start it when we normally start it. We're going to start it in late October. And
I think they're seeing if they're going to get through all these big things. They're going like, all right, let's. If we get through this, we're great. If we don't, we're going to fold the tent.
Yeah, and I think Matt Taylor made a good point in it in saying, okay, so how do you look at the last 2 weeks when things have opened up, and now we've got Clemson and Alabama and Texas and all these big schools with a bunch of cases. Okay, this is I'm admitting this, Jim. Understand, I'm not stating that I know what's going on. But if 80% of the population is going to get this virus anyway and recover from it and be okay, isn't it not necessarily a bad thing that these kids from Clemson and Texas and whatever, these healthy, athletic kids, go ahead and get the virus? I think it
is. I mean, I really do.
Get through it.
And first of all, how do you expect them not to get it? Because I guarantee you, when you look back at, and I'm not saying Clemson or anybody particular, but when you look back and we saw all the videos of all the beaches in Florida or Missouri or wherever it was, all these, of course, they're down, half of them are down there. So, they're not going to not get it. They're not, half of them are kids, they're immature. They're not, we've seen them on video, on TV, on the news. Hey man, if you don't want to catch it, don't come out or blah, blah, it's just being stupid. But you're right. Yes, the society as a whole needs to get it, just not at the same time. But as we get closer, and I've seen things where maybe it's weakening. That would be great if that's true. Talked to somebody the other day, said we're 12 months from getting a vaccine. So hopefully it's weakening. But if not, it's.
So would you accept as just an individual, as Jim Coyle individual, would you accept if I said, okay, we're 12 months from having a vaccine, and that's a hard date, we're going to have it. We're going to cancel all sports and everything until 12 months from now.
Nope.
Would you accept that?
Nope.
Yeah, me either. That's why we're Americans.
I don't take the flu vaccine half the time anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I know. I'd roll the dice.
But this is different just because we've never had it. I've had the flu. Or, well, maybe I always thought I've had the flu. But we haven't had this, so it depends on who you are. I mean, it really just depends on who you are.
A scary number of people have died. I mean, and I don't want to downplay that.
Absolutely not.
We've been fortunate enough no one super close to us has passed away from it. But also on the other side of it is a lot of people have got it and gotten over it. Some people had it and didn't even know they had it.
The Louisville football game this fall, North Carolina State at Louisville, has been moved up a day, played on a Wednesday, September 2nd from the Thursday, to avoid the conflict with the Kentucky Derby weekend. That's how weird this college football season is going to be. Louisville's having to move a football game for the Kentucky Derby weekend, which now you talk about a great weekend.
It was going to be on Thursday.
Yeah, they're playing a Thursday game. The Derby start basically
Derby Saturday.
Yeah, you got the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. You've got the Kentucky Oaks on Friday, and you've got what they call Thurby on Thursday now, which is just a huge day at the track. Wednesday,
it's
not
like
so much.
Day. It's like Carb Day for the Indy 500.
In essence, yeah, not a bad analogy. Yeah, it's a yeah. So, but those 3 days are right in succession, and it's just a huge weekend. Now you've turned this into a big 4-day spectacular,
Sure.
which is kind of a cool deal.
Even better.
And it gives us a football game on a Wednesday night. So
Even better.
Yeah, I'm looking at it kind of stingily, but there's that.
I got no problem with it.
Yeah, so cool.
They can move it up to this Wednesday if they want to.
I wish they'd have put something on last night, but but looking forward to that, man. Let's see. Yeah, Cade Cunningham, big news with him. We talked about this a little bit ago or earlier on, but again, shocker, man. He's projected to be the number 1 draft pick. The number 1 pick, and announced today that he was sticking with his commitment to Oklahoma State despite the NCAA giving the Cowboys a postseason ban for next season. Only season, I just nothing about this makes sense to me.
Here's the only thing. Okay, so sometimes there's like a play on words with the way these things are done, and the only thing that comes to my mind when I hear that is he's not going to go to a different university.
That's exactly what it
doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to go to the G League or Europe. I guess I don't. I mean, otherwise I can tell you, Jim, there isn't anything about it that makes sense other than what you said earlier. He's getting paid so much money by just going to Oklahoma State because he'd be better off as going with a shoe company and not even playing for Oklahoma State at all this season and just accepting money from a shoe company.
Why would you not? But why would you stay? I mean, this is going to be his only year.
Tell you.
I mean, I cannot come up with
no answer.
Why would he not go to another school? Because every Tom Crean's right there with his hand out. Bill Self is right there.
Duke would take him. Every school in the entire country would take him.
So why would he not go play for Kansas or Duke or Kentucky or whomever?
No explanation.
Yeah, that is a weird. And he took visits to North Carolina, to Florida, to Kentucky, and Washington. So he visited those schools, man. And I guarantee you all 4 of them would take him in a heartbeat.
I'll say this is, to be honest with you, it's not a great look for Oklahoma State that he's staying there because it doesn't make sense. And there has to be something fishy going on with it. Unless he's just saying, I'm not going to go to another university and I am keeping my commitment to Oklahoma State. However, I'm not going to play college basketball. I'm going to go to the G League team.
Yeah.
Otherwise I can't explain it. I have literally no explanation.
It's a weird one, man. Hey, tomorrow Mo Creek's going to join us. The TBT is getting closer. We talked about that a little bit ago.
What team's he playing on? Do we know?
I have to look it back up. I think Ramey is on there with him. What, Jimmy?
It's called Sideline Cancer. He's with Remy Able too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the same team they played for last year, right? Cool. Good deal.
They actually did pretty well, didn't they? Last year, I think, because I remember the team name.
They made a run. I remember we were following them. They made a run.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can do the same this year. But there's some. These teams are loading up. That's becoming a thing. Ohio State, their alumni team, Marquette, all these schools, and that's why Indiana got to get Indiana on it. Man, we got to spearhead this. But they're serious about their teams. Like I said, there's a guy that I saw. He's an 18-year NBA veteran. They got some guys that played in the NBA. They're serious about this thing. Plus, the money ain't bad. I mean, last year it got up to $2 million. Back this year, it's back to $1 million because of for obvious reasons. But probably the next year back to $2 million. And it's a winner take all deal, baby. There ain't no second place.
The money's bad for second place.
Yeah, you're daggone right.
Terrible.
It is awful. But if you're second place, you're just first loser.
Yeah, you get a handshake, and in this year you get a virtual handshake.
But see, to me, that's I love that about this. It's like rodeo. If you don't win in rodeo, you don't get paid. It don't matter if you traveled. It don't matter how much expenses you were. It doesn't matter what your entry fees were.
I love your rodeo analogies.
But it's the truth. You don't get paid, man, but you still have that experience, and it's different. These guys just show up and get paid. But these guys aren't, man. They're playing for their meal ticket. Hungry. It makes you hungry. And these are all hungry guys. These are not guys that are getting, spoiled in the big leagues now either. So they're already hungrier. And that money, man, that's a difference maker, that kind of money.
Do you chuckle at me when I talk about golf as much as I chuckle at you when you talk about rodeo?
Nope, because you know the answer to that.
I just love giving you a hard time.
Oh, I know. I'm just all encompassing.
I
just ignore it. I just ignore it just because I know where it's coming from.
I think I'm going to pick up rodeo this afternoon. I'll probably be a master at it by tomorrow morning.
You probably would. That's not actually. A buddy of mine was a basketball player when I was younger. He did pick it. He picked it up kind of quick enough that it pissed me off. I'm like, damn, it didn't take you that long. It took me much longer.
No, when you told me what it does to your hands, that eliminates me right there. I'm out. I'm out.
Kind of like keeping your fingers intact. It's always a good thing. Man, we appreciate everybody joining us today. As always, Matt Taylor, our good friend from the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, my God. I let him get away without doing a Don Fisher. Damn it.
Yeah, you know what?
I had that plan. I meant to tell him, I'm sorry I didn't prepare you, but you cannot leave without doing a Fisher.
He was so good last time with the Don Fisher. It's almost better to not overdo it.
Next time I'm texting him and I'm saying, just prepare one because you can't leave without it. But daggone it. How did I forget that? Did not write it down. That's how I forgot it.
Yep.
But doggone it. But look forward to being back tomorrow. Who did I say? Mo Creek's going to be with us. So looking forward to that. I think NASCAR's on today at 3:00. If you're looking for something to watch, if in between the rain, if you can't get out. But hope everybody goes out and has a great day. Thanks a lot to Jimmy Todd. I'm Jim Coyle. Until tomorrow, I will see you on the radio.